Track Reviews.
Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you're doing well, and it's time for a track review. My thoughts on a song or a single. Let me give a quick shout out to our sponsor in this one, good people over at The Ridge. They still make these awesome, nifty, minimalist, rugged, metal-plated wallets that fit nicely in that front pocket. Hit up that link down below, promo code MELON, 10% off, all you gotta know. All right, so Kanye West, his new record, Donda. One of the biggest albums of the year, a favorite of the year for many. I enjoyed it quite a bit myself. And one of the interesting things about the project, one of the interesting characteristics about the project is there are some extra tracks, if you remember, toward the end of the record, where Kanye provides like some different versions of songs with varying features on them. And believe it or not, what we have here is an exclusive leak from the Kanye West camp of a version, a part 2, that was going to be on Donda, but I guess didn't make the cut. So, there's Jail Part 2, and as I'm saying, there was going to be an Off the Grid Part 2, which is crazy because that's easily one of the greatest and most perfect songs on Donda, if there is one. Now, you may be asking, who are the features that were going to be on Off the Grid Part 2? And you may be surprised to hear that it is pretty much the Bikini Bottom crew. I'm talking SpongeBob, I'm talking Patrick, and believe it or not, Mr. Krabs as well is in the mix. I do have to maybe give a bit of an apology here because I was a little critical of, this whole redemption and forgiveness narrative on account of some of the features on the record because I didn't really buy into it, and given how the whole thing rolled out, it didn't make too much sense. But given Patrick Starr's recent allegations, I think it does kind of make sense that Kanye West is kind of like pushing the envelope a little bit with some of the features, at least the ones that he's including in the part 2 version of this record. And, he first caught wind of this track when there were headlines saying that Mr. Krabs wasn't too happy about being removed from the record, but that seemed so preposterous that, nobody had believed or taken seriously the idea that Mr. Krabs would even take part, or Kanye West would want Mr. Krabs to take part in any record, any project that he had going, especially considering the tensions that have been going on between both of them for years. But, here it is. We have it, the part 2 version of Off the Grid with SpongeBob, with Patrick, with Mr. Krabs. We're going to give it a listen. We're going to give it a spin. I encourage you guys to listen to it yourselves via the link in the description box down below. And I'll see you on the other end of my listen to this track.
That isn't my ribs. I just did it, my kid. Honest. I just grew 20 kidneys old. Swings and onions. I just bought me some branded clothes.
Only trusted in people like keep lows, making something they sell for repos. Remember when I was broke wearing cheap coats? Now it's time into that casino. Think I'm feeling marvelous. They let the monster loose.
They playing soccer in my backyard. I think I see Messi, and this money could never neglect me. I pray that my family, they never resent me. And she fell in love with me soon as she met me. We both got a bad, but my bag is for heaven. We have to stop counting, it's getting too petty.
This might be better than the original. This might be better than the original version, and that track is so good. What to say here? I mean, stellar hook, but obviously the same hook from the original, but SpongeBob is taking it over this time around, and he sounds good on the mic. SpongeBob actually has decent flow, better flow than you would expect, especially when he kind of, dives deep into that verse on the back end of the track, which we will get into. What I was less impressed by was Patrick. There were some points where his voice was kind of garbled, and he didn't come to the mic with as much charisma as SpongeBob did easily, who kind of punched above his weight, and for whatever reason performed in this video naked, not even any clothes. I guess he's just a wild man on this one. Is Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs went off on his verse. He went crazy, just non-stop. Mr. Krabs was a beast on this track. Who would have thought that this penny pincher would have had the lyricism that he brought to the table on this one. Mr. Krabs had a great performance on this track, for sure, for sure. And from what I've heard, like, this isn't even the only version of this that we might hear at some point. You know, Sandy Cheeks is rumored to have taken part in the Donda sessions, but we haven't heard, you know, proof of that exactly yet. And who knows if there's going to be some kind of response at some point from either Squidward or Plankton, because obviously Kanye involving himself with SpongeBob is going to cause some tensions with Squidward. He might hop on a track. He might say something on social media just to kind of get the pot stirring. And of course, you know, Plankton, he's always going at Mr. Krabs' throat. And Plankton definitely has like the technology and the know-how to record a really dope diss track. So, you know, who knows if he actually will follow through with that. But yeah, good effort from everybody all around. It's a really good version. It's a good part 2 off the grid version. I'm a little shocked it didn't make, you know, the final version of the record, considering how great it is. The record is still good in its current state, and, you know, we have lots of great appearances across it, including from the Glab 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 Glab. So yeah, those are pretty much my thoughts on the track. Shout out to everybody over at Bikini Bottom, obviously, because this thing just came out great. And let me know what your thoughts are on this part 2 version of Off the Grid down in the comments below. I'll see you in the next video. Over here next to my head is as I said, another video that you could check out. Hit that up, or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, SpongeBob, Patrick, Mr. Krabs, forever.